Okay, so today is December 7th.
Okay.
And, I was reading through the thoughts for the day
Hmm.
and the meditation and the prayer for today.
Mm-hmm.
And it really made me think about,
Okay.
that feeling of coming home,
Yeah.
like after a long trip.
Right.
And, that sense of relief,
Yeah. Yeah.
familiarity, that
Yeah.
feeling of I'm home.
Absolutely.
And I was thinking about that in the context of recovery
Yeah.
and, not just physically coming home, but kind of coming home to yourself
Right.
and to a sense of wholeness,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. I think that's really,
What do you think about that?
yeah, no, I think that's a really great way to frame this because, when we think about coming home in a recovery, it's
Yeah.
not just about, like you said, a physical place. It's about coming back to a sense of who we are.
Right.
And, for a lot of us in recovery, that means coming back to a sense of spirituality,
Yeah.
of connection to a higher power. And I think the readings for today really touch on those themes in some really powerful ways.
I think so too.
Okay.
And I think
Yeah.
the thought for the day really stood out to me
Okay.
because it talks about, it talks about slips
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it talks about the temptation to hide them
Yeah.
when someone comes back to the program or something like that.
Right.
But it also talks about how someone who's really grounded
Yeah.
in the program
Right.
is going to feel compelled to share
Yes.
about that
At their next meeting, right?
at their next meeting. Yeah.
I mean, they can't hold it in.
Yeah, like they could
Oh,
sweep it under the rug.
exactly.
They need to like talk about it.
It's like this.
And I thought that was so interesting.
Yeah, I think it's almost like this.
Go ahead.
It's like this inner compass
Yeah.
that's guiding them back home.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like that urge to share, to be honest, becomes a signpost pointing you back to that place of authenticity. Because, let's be real, hiding those mistakes doesn't make them disappear.
No.
It just adds another layer of burden.
Yeah, it's like carrying around a secret
Yeah.
that's weighing you down.
Exactly. And I think the reading even mentions this.
Yeah.
That sense of relief that comes when you finally do speak up.
Right.
It's like, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm home.
I'm home.
Can breathe again.
Yeah. And it talks about,
Right.
there's this feeling of confidence returning.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, I can do this.
Yes. And you know what else is really beautiful about that passage?
What's that?
It emphasizes the importance of support in that process.
Right.
It talks about how other members shouldn't keep bringing up the slip.
Yeah.
It's not about judgment. It's not about shame.
Yeah.
It's about creating that safe space for honesty and growth.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really important point
Yeah.
because, a lot of times people might be afraid to speak up
Right.
because they're afraid of being judged.
Yeah.
But
But in a true...
in a supportive environment,
Yes.
people understand that you're human
Yes.
and that you're going to make mistakes.
And it's about learning from those mistakes and moving forward.
Exactly.
And it's so powerful to have that support system to
Yeah.
be able to come home to.
Yeah, I love that.
Right.
The whole idea of honesty being a pathway
Uh-huh.
to a kind of spiritual homecoming.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
And, speaking of spiritual nourishment,
Okay.
the meditation for the day,
Yes.
I think, takes this even deeper
Yeah.
with this idea of soul starvation.
It's a powerful analogy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Like soul starvation.
a powerful image, right?
Yeah.
It's comparing the need for, physical food
Yeah.
to the need for something more.
Yes.
Something that feeds the soul.
Right.
And, saying that without that nourishment, we kind of wither.
We wither, we struggle
We struggle.
to truly live.
And it talks about finding that nourishment through union with God, aligning our actions with His will,
Yes.
and that's where the real meat and potatoes of life come from,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah. And it reminds me of the verse in Matthew 4.4
Okay.
where Jesus says, "Man shall not live on bread alone,
Yes.
but on every word that comes from the mouth of God."
Right.
And it's so true. We need more than just material things to truly thrive.
Absolutely.
We need that spiritual sustenance,
Right.
that connection to something greater than ourselves.
And, that brings us to the prayer for the day,
Okay.
which I thought was really interesting because
Yeah.
it actually asks for the spirit to be sustained,
Uh-huh.
not by bread alone,
Right.
but by doing God's will.
Right.
So it's not just about passively receiving.
Yes.
It's about
action.
It's about acting.
Yeah.
It's about aligning our actions with a higher purpose.
Exactly. And that's where the real transformation happens.
I agree.
It's not enough to just pray
Yeah.
or have good intentions. It's about putting those prayers into action.
Yeah.
living out those spiritual principles in every aspect of our lives.
Yeah, and it's like, that idea of coming home
Yeah.
that we were talking about,
Yeah.
it's not just about arriving at a destination.
Right.
It's an ongoing process.
It's a journey.
It's a journey
Yeah.
of returning to our truest selves,
Right.
to that place of alignment with God.
Absolutely.
And, honesty,
Yeah.
seeking spiritual nourishment, and acting on His will.
Those become the guideposts.
Those become the guideposts,
Yeah.
leading us back home.
back home.
I love that.
Me too.
So I think it leaves us with a powerful question to ponder.
Okay.
What actions in your life
Yeah.
bring you a sense of peace, strength,
Right.
and that feeling of coming home to your true self?
Yeah.
I think that's something worth reflecting on.
Yeah. I think so too.